just a moment, a little later on in the show, but, you know, even the census falls foul of transgender lobby, because we've got a national census coming up in, what is it, 2 years' time?
Don't know what it is.
Yeah, it might be 2020, something like that, but it's in the foreseeable future. And there's a horrendous debate going on at the moment about the fact of what we should put down as to whether we're male, female, bisexual, multisexual, prosexual, antisexual.
But when it asks your sex, you put yes, don't you?
Well, no, I put sometimes.
Oh, I put never.
No, not often. No, I mean, so what on earth is the point how on this national census if we're not going to, because we're going to say, well, there's X million males, there's X million females, X million children.
Don't you think it's all got a bit too far? I mean, there's a group of school kids now, girls and boys, have launched a range of what do you call it?
Gender neutral.
That's the word. Yeah. Gender neutral clothing, I believe.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, it's all getting a bit stupid, I think. So you're going to get men wearing bikinis, are you?
I want to wear a bikini.
I thought you did.
No, I've never actually done it. I think
certainly needs one.
A bikini and a tutu.
Have you worn or seen in the raw flesh a mankini?
No.
So,
I've actually got one.
You have you?
No,
that wouldn't surprise
it was
me.
a leftover bit from a party. Yeah. I didn't actually wear it, but it ended up in my house.
You've got to have a lot of guts to wear it, haven't you?
They are rather peculiar things. I've got a bright yellow one. If you want to borrow it, Mike, you're welcome.
No, the thing is, you haven't got to have a lot of guts, because if you've got a lot of guts, then it all hangs out and shows.
Well, that's the other way of looking at it.
You can't put it away. But
I think that's a young fit man's game.
I actually did see a man wearing one, and it was quite funny, really, to say the least. But
well, when I was in Malaysia, there was a lot of Muslim people there on holiday at this hotel, and the men they were cabin crew for one of the airlines, and they were all wearing thongs, on the beach and all that. So, and I didn't appreciate it whatsoever. I mean, I thought it was ghastly.
Well, that's thongs of praise, eh?
Thongs of praise, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
At the Telegraph, we're going to have an evening. This is going to be a quiet evening. An evening with Brian Blessed. That'll be a quiet night, won't it?
He's a wonderful actor.
Yeah, isn't he just? Yeah.
What brought that up, Bob? I mean,
it's just on my screen in front of me. That's up the news. That was all.
Well, you got that. In front of my screen, I've got something about Mormons.
Go on, yeah.
Well, it actually spreads itself a little wider than Mormons. It's it's all about evolution. And they've got a problem with evolution. And according to a 2004 Gallup poll, 45% of Americans stated that human beings had been created by God in their current form for just 10,000 years ago.
Wow, there you are.
Did you say anything about the baptism?
In 2009, on the 200th anniversary of Darwin's birth, Gallup found that only 4 in 10 Americans believed in evolution.
Wow.
So that is quite... Because the Mormons don't, do they? They don't believe in evolution. They believe in creationism.
I don't know. You obviously know more about this than I do.
Well, they believe that the world was created 10,000 years ago by God, as written down in the Bible.
Right, okay.
And dinosaurs... When I challenged one of these creationist people on this, I said to them, well, what about dinosaurs? What about the Natural History Museum? Fake news. I'm not kidding you. It was the very first time I'd ever heard the expression.
I went to a Mormon restaurant once in a town called St. George, which is just over the border from Nevada, or Arizona, is it? On top of the hill near Nellis Air Force Base. You come out of Las Vegas. So we went into Utah, which is a home of the Mormons, of course. Yeah. And it was quite an experience. I mean, the food was very good, and we had a chat to this bloke, and he said, "Oh, I went to your country for training and to convert people."
Yeah, well, that's where they go around and knock on the doors.
They all dress in suits, so you know they're coming.
Yeah, I mean, one of my wife's ex-wife's sisters, they had something called Mormonitis.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they fell for the Mormons.
Ah,
big time.
Yeah, there's a lot of this around here because the lady who used to be a makeup artist, dear lady, she now died, but her daughter's husband got involved with all this, and when he sold all his property, gave all the money to the Mormon church, and then they went out to Salt Lake City. She was part and parcel of it.
You have to actually give a week's wages every month.
Is that right?
A week of your wages every month, or salary every month.
Is it that much?
That's right. He was a driving instructor, this guy.
A whole week.
It closed the business down, I believe.
But you see, again, I mean, they don't drink tea, don't drink coffee, or anything like that. You know, it's just water, and everything has to be blessed, and all this sort of thing. You know, but each to their own. That's all I will say. And it's pretty obvious, really, judging from the conversation that's just gone on, that there is only one of us that have allowed them into our front rooms, and that is Mr. Mallion, don't you think?
Was it in your front room?
Yeah, I've allowed them into my front room. And the thing is, you've got to understand, you've got to listen to people, haven't you? Because they might just have something that you don't quite get.
And otherwise you don't know about it.
And if you don't have an open mind, you're never going to learn anything.
I agree.
So I'm quite happy to listen to Jehovah's Witnesses and Mormons and any other crank that comes along. But
the trouble is,
ultimately, they're cranks.
When they get in, once you let them in, they don't know what to say, do they? Because they've never got that far before.
Well,
the old ones are the best.
I'm just going to say now that Mr. Mallion's address is...
well, it's a matter of public record, it seems. Every time I go on the internet...
So Mr. Mallion's wearing a dress?
I can't believe how many... occasions that there are websites and stuff with my personal address on it. It's unbelievable.
Oh no!
No such thing as privacy anymore.
You're absolutely right, and it makes me laugh.
What your wife and my wife does.
Yeah, I mean, my wife gets a letter on the, if it's typed Mrs. Barry and the address, she tears that up into the little postage stamp and then tears that into 4 million pieces.
Yeah, as does mine. Yeah.
And I said, what are you doing that for? I don't want anybody finding my address. So we'll move.
You've only got to go to the library, haven't you?
Well, it's just I've got to ask the postman as he's coming down the road.
Just type in your name online, and eventually you'll come across a website with all your contact information.
I top it, actually.
But of course, when you're famous like we are, I mean, you can't stop this because you've got so much out there in the public domain.
Paul Pagnell, grumpy old men. They'll know what Mike's tutu size is.
2 million entries.
You put the casting couch down, and I know where you go.
And off we go. Yeah. Right, we have a casting couch for new Grumpies.
Do you know? I truly believed that actually the days of the casting couch in the film industry had gone. I mean, we all know it was prevalent back in the 30s and 40s. Way back there in the early days of Hollywood. It was almost obligatory. The casting
it's probably a casting double king size bed now.
But I truly believe that it had gone. I didn't think. I certainly, my limited experience, it's certainly never been part of the equation, and I just don't think it's. I didn't think it happened.
Yeah, but I'm sure it doesn't only happen here. I think it happens in big business as well, doesn't it? When company directors take a liking to one of the female staff, they do all they can to woo them, don't they? Illegal means.
There is a difficult balance, right? I'm a young, free, single male. All right.
Did you say young?
Yeah. That's what I was going to say.
I thought I was hearing things.
Yeah, young at heart.
Looking at somebody else.
Absolutely. But, sometimes it's difficult to know just where that line is, where you want to go and say to a gorgeous young lady, I think you're lovely and I'd like to go out to dinner with you.
And she says, sod off, you dirty old man.
Yeah, where you can actually do that, how you can do that, has become complexed.
Well, it hasn't happened to me for many years, but I do.
You can say the wrong thing and offend somebody.
Absolutely right.
Inadvertently, you're just trying to be polite, but some people could take it wrong, and it could be called harassment, whereas you're doing something perfectly innocently, and things can be twisted as well. Yeah. I've been the victim of being twisted.
Bitter and
harassment or harassment?
Well, I've had my fair share of people who have tried to twist and
nobble
me. Yeah, I've had it.
Nobble you.
Yes, that's a lovely word.
Wishful thinking.
I love the expression there. Yeah. Right, listen, it's 20 minutes away from 9 o'clock here in Milton Keynes now, and you're listening, of course, to CRMK on a Saturday morning. I think we really ought to get cracking with the show because
I've got one.
The next point now is runny eggs, because get cracking. Runny eggs are now back on the menu. Apparently, that's almost 30 years after the salmonella crisis.
Oh, really?
I think we're all old enough, aren't we, to remember the salmonella crisis in Edwina Curry. Isn't it interesting?
Curried eggs.
Yes, curried eggs. You don't eat eggs.
No, not as eggs. I eat them in cakes and things. Obviously,
you don't eat eggs.
No, I don't eat eggs.
So there's only one of us in the studio here, and I'm looking at.
No, you got egg on your face, haven't you?
Yes, I'm looking at. You've been shelling out things, haven't you? I'm looking at.
He normally keeps it on his tie.
There's got some on your shirt too this morning.
Oh, that's for 11s, that's if I get hungry during the day. But isn't it funny how it's taken sort of 30 years for somebody to come up with the fact that, all right, salmonella isn't actually. I know they got rid of it in eggs, but have they got rid of it in eggs, or is there something else lurking?
No, they haven't got rid of it.
Well, it seems to be anything associated with chickens is associated with salmonella, isn't it?
Well, look at this. I mean, it's all gone very quiet. That's Two Sisters production plants in the Midlands where they were supplying chickens. 30 million a week or something to Tesco and Marks and Spencer's and Aldi's and Lidl's. And somebody else as well. And it's all gone quiet now, apparently.
These things tend to. I mean, even the shooting in Las Vegas, nothing much about that this week, is there?
Well, there was an article in one of the national papers about that. It's funny you should mention that, because apparently now, typical Americans, they've now got on the bandwagon, and there are shooting galleries opening up in Las Vegas all over the place, where you can fire a high-powered rifle and machine gun and all the rest of it.
A picture of the killer?
No, not a picture of the killer at all. But just you can go and do it, so that you can feel what it felt like to if you went around a massacre pit.
I've got to mention this.
How sick.
There haven't always been shooting ranges in America. I've been on a few.
Yeah, but they doubled up now.
This is now an entertainment, I think, isn't it? I've got to mention this. My wife was watching one of these real crime type things. I think it was on CBS or something last night, and it was an American production. It was about a true British crime, and it was acting, and they got actors in it, and one of these actors is supposed to be in a British bobby, and he got one of these plastic toy helmets you get in the toy shops for kids he was wearing. It looked absolutely ridiculous, and the car the bloke was supposed to be driving, it was left-hand drive. Everything was wrong about this. I mean, the production was absolutely appalling, but it was laughable. You had to laugh at this,
Well, when we were talking about the salmonella side of things, I did a little bit of
research.
And the first thing I came across was something called the Mayo Clinic.
Yes.
Well, you get mayonnaise in it.
Mayonnaise, which is a real...
Do you want mayo with your eggs?
Mayonnaise is a good source of salmonella if you're looking for it.
Yeah, it's eggs, isn't it? It's egg-based.
Egg-based.
I'll tell you, I've got a story which was on the news this morning about animals being attacked in fields and horses particularly. The RSPCA are really concerned about this because it's increased by 365% this year, and it's not even got to the end of the year. And this is where kids are going in and they're knifing animals, or they're putting screwdrivers in horses' heads and things, and filming it to go on one of these social media sites. I don't know what is the social media site the kids mainly use?
What's that?
No, it's another one. No,
there's a few of them.
Yeah, well, they're publicising what they do, and they keep watching it over and over again, and it's spreading like wildfire. But they're concerned that there's almost an epidemic of attacking poor defensive animals, horses particularly, because they're in open fields and such, and goats and things like that.
I would have thought the authorities would have been able to track these people down if they're actually publicising themselves on social media.
Whether they bother to, or have they got the resources to do it?
Well, I think that the police have really underestimated the importance of cybercrime. And I'd bring that into the same category as cybercrime. It's a crime that's committed in, with regard to cyberspace, and the police have really underplayed it. There should be at least a couple of hundred policemen in every major conurbation dedicated to dealing with people who are committing online fraud.
Well, for once, I'm going to actually defend the police, because apparently there's a new crime, which is a crime wave started up in London, and no doubt it will spread to the other cities of this wonderful country of ours, and that is scooter and moped thefts. Where the two of them are riding down on a moped, and they'll rob your mobile phone from your hand and drive off with it. And but the police actually caught a lad because somebody took a photograph of these characters, and you couldn't see them because they got their visors on and all the rest of it, completely disguised. But one of the guys had got. They got a picture of his hand, and he'd got bitten fingernails. And one of the police, or they ran it through the computer things, and they nailed it down. Sorry.
Oh, dear.
That was totally unintentional, listener. I do beg your pardon. But they got it, and they discovered that this was old Jimmy Brown. So they went round, knocked on Jimmy Brown's door, and said, "You're nicked." And it was very clever because they'd actually got it.